Good morning, gentlemen. In our series of talk, we have started on situation and related problems. We would be talking about problems in psychology and what is its solution. As you all know, situation is one or more circumstances, conditions, states, or entities in the environment that have the potential to exert causal influence on an individual's behavior. When you talk about causal influence, it means it exerts a press. And if you recollect where we talked about, there are two types of press, one the alpha press and beta press psychologically. Alpha press is what is the degree of stress it wants to create directly. And beta is what is our perception of that. And if you also recollect, there is going to be there is correlation between situation and the person itself. Person influences the situation and situation in turn influences the person. And both these put together have got direct or indirect impact on the outcome itself. Depending upon our perception, even the situations, what it is, it makes to situation too. That the next type of situation that depend upon our perception. So it means directly, indirectly, we only perceive that every situation has got certain amount of problem, certain amount of response which expects from any person. Response can only come if there is a problem. And we would like to solve it. There may be a problem. If we don't want to solve it, that's no issue then. So now, as a psychology is concerned, a problem is define any situation in which we are trying to reach a goal, and we must find a means to reach that goal. Means we have got certain aim to be achieved, and we are looking around for ways and means to reach that place. Simple. That's what the problem is. In general, situation meaning refers to how a person appraises ongoing events. That is his perception. Okay, and that will itself will have some relevance. That has come back from how does he perceive that situation. It will depend upon his own past experience. It will depend upon his own personality. It will depend upon how clean or not so clean are his traits or thinking. When we define personality, the way we feel, think, act, and behave. And we also said behavior is a function of the person and the environment. So environment plays an important role. Once we have said that situation is there and we expect certain amount of response, we got two ways to act. One to respond, another to react. Okay, let's start with the response itself. When we talk response, I'm trying to solve that problem. What we call it's called favorable reaction. When we talk about favorable reaction, it means what? I'm using all available resources. What are my resources? My brain. The way I can think. Use of available resources available to me to find a solution. So responses are typically the outcome of thoughtful reflection, consideration the relevant factors, and they are often clearly, carefully formulated and well presented. That is what the response. It means response requires certain degree of utilization of our brain, that is cognitive brain, our neocortex. And keep giving example. Response is like a trained dog. It acts and reacts at a particular moment when it is required. Whereas the reaction is like a street dog. It starts biting and barking at each and everything that comes around there. So what is reaction then? It's acting up. When Newton's third law says, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. And if you recollect the physics, he said, if I throw a ball on the wall, it gets immediately returned. And he says, what is the timing between the impact on the wall and the return? He says, we do not know. It's going to be almost instantaneous. Only problem is the direction in which it goes, it's opposite to the direction it was when it was thrown around. So reaction is always also is a no, it's like a friction. I would like to oppose the change itself. So a reaction may occur within the space of seconds, as I said, Newton's third law. Often without it done, you don't have to think about it, just instantaneously you react. And once I use it, when we are using, temporarily you are trying to find a solution and you are not giving a deep thought to it, naturally, solution may not be optimal. You may succeed. I am not trying to say that you may not succeed. How has this, depending upon how we have used such or similar circumstances in past to react, that is what comes back to our rationale. That so unconsciously we try and act and react in a particular fashion, which we have been doing in past based upon our own experience and the personality itself. And reactions are normal, and we all get angry. If someone tells me something, we all get angry. There is no problem. But the problem is, in that anger, do I hit someone? That's a reaction. Or do I quickly think about it and pacify that person? That's not right. That becomes a response. In psychology, we also talked about every situation we have just now talked creates a press. That is a pressure. And pressure creates a certain amount of anxiety. And we in environment, we would like to reduce that anxiety as much as we can. That is where defense mechanism, what was initially given by Simon Freud, comes to play. Defense mechanism. So in psychology, reaction formation defense mechanism in which a person unconsciously replaces unwanted or anxiety-provoking impulses with the opposite, often expressed in an exaggerated or showy way. It may not be exaggerated or showy, but no. Suppose you go to you have gone to your principal, as I always keep on telling, as a child, as a student. Now he tells you have done this wrong. Normal reaction is what? To respond and to react. No, sir, I have not done it. But you will be very cautious there, because he is going to make your life or break it. So if you know I'm going to reply very rudely to the principal, he is going to spoil my career itself. So what do you do? You hold back. You come under anxiety. But what do you do? As soon as you come out from your principal's house, you find a junior, you start shouting at him, what the hell have you done? What is that? So what you have to displace that anxiety that comes. You want to reduce that anxiety. So this is all, we have got good defense mechanism and not so good defense mechanism. We'll talk about it sometime later. Having seen that, so we say every situation creates a problem. The problem itself can be simple, complex, or what we call as a wicked problem. Simple problem is there's one cause and there's one solution. Say, now you're gone for examination, you got a question paper, you have to answer. That's the end of it. There's no other solution there. If you don't write, you will not get any credit, any marks. It's a simple case. But there comes a complex problem. Complex problems are there. So now you are going go for examination. As you're going across, you're trying to reach the exam, so there's something happens in en route. Another cause, it tries to delay you. And you probably reach a very simple thing, your pen gets broken, you don't have pen. That may be another cause. Now, so this problem remains the same, that you have to appear for examination. But so many other causes are there, and the solution may be different. All solution will have to there, different solutions have to be there. Especially when you go back to SSP per se, you will find different scenario. If you are going to progressive group task, you have to cross from one end to another, and the solution may be many, not only one. Now, lastly, we call it what we call a wicked problem. Wicked problem are which are directly affecting your, their causes are direct, and certain hidden causes are there. As I say again, let's talk about the examination itself. You are going for examination, and it is too severe, winter. And if it is winter, no, you would like to first like to comfortable before you start writing itself. That's hidden cause. Okay, so there can be so many ways of doing it. So the problem can be simple, complex, or wicked. Simple are ones that have a single cause or are well defined and have a clear-cut solution. Now, if I have to go from Calcutta to Delhi, what happens? I have to find ways. I have to reach. Either means by train or flight. Whatever I have chosen, and that's I have to go. When I'm going to going to go out and I want to take out my car, probably I have misplaced my key. So listen, I have to find that key. Similarly, now you have given generally in the SRT, you are given a situation. You are going and you're gone to the bathroom and you find a cobra inside the bathroom. Now you have to react. So listen, maybe the cause is only one, that cobra has to be sorted out. So now the complex problems are those which tend to have multiple causes and are difficult to understand, and the resolution or solution itself can have more than one. It can have many solutions, lead to other problems, and your solution itself may create another problem for you. Okay, suppose now, normally there is a traffic police encounter addressing a traffic conditions. There can be n number of causes and n number of solutions. If 200 people you are trying to organize a picnic, there can be n number of problems, as well n number of solutions. When I was probing questions, he is trying to probe certain questions on there. He's not asking direct questions. If he asks you certain certain CIQs, in one question there are about 10 to 18 questions, 8 to 10 questions are there, and you are expected to answer them. WAT, word is only one, but solutions are many. Unintended outcome will also be many. Wicked problems are problems that seem to be so complex that it's difficult to envision a solution. Climate change is an example. It's a wicked problem. Group discussion is another problem. You don't know to which point is going to come there, how to respond to them, because the 10 of you are going to discuss, and all 10 of you have got different point of view. Progressive group task. Similarly, the thematic apperception test, IOH CIQ, they are some of the examples as far as in our environment concerned, that example of wicked problems. So wicked problems are like a tangled mess of thread. From where to start and where to end, you do not know. It's difficult to know which to pull first, and otherwise it get more and more entangled. It was Retd and Weber who gave this concept of wicked problem. And its character, he says, it's difficult to define the problem itself, because suppose if I ask you one of the CIQ question, now I have done my education from this school and I have scored this marks. Fair enough. That up to this okay. But you do not know what he's trying to infer from your answer. So exactly you have to answer. He is asking you how have you performed. And that performance can be many. You may not have done well in say in classes or say academics. You may have done well in sports, may have done something else. So you exactly have to understand what the problem is. Now, say we took the example of say climatic change. Now, what is the climatic change itself? Is it only the temperature? Is it only the rain? Is it only the soil erosion? There's so many factors come to play. It's difficult to define exactly the problem itself, and difficult to know when the solution has solved. You may be thinking that no, environment has become okay, and probably we had a very good rain this time, and next year when you come back, monsoon behaves in own erratic way. There's no clear right or wrong answer, because if you have tried to solve one of the problems, say again climate change, you have tried to ensure that emission is reduced. Fair enough. But by emission reduction, you are creating another problem. How to solve the problem of the fuel? I don't want to use coal. I want to say green energy. Very nice. Now, green energy requires other equipments of the system. From where are these equipments going to come? Who is going to give the money? So the solution may be one. You do not know. You're trying to say this is the right solution. This may not be the right solution. Similarly, in a progressive group task, when you're going around there, you have tried to find one solution. But is it the right, most effective or most efficient solution? No, may not be there. Difficult to learn from the previous success to solve the problem. Each problem is unique, and there are too many possible solutions to that. This is what is the third type of problem there. So if there are problems, there must also be solutions. One of the classical ways, they call it 4S method. It was given by Garrett, Phelps, and Simony in the context of IT. And I still, having gone through it, I still feel one of the classical ways which can be extended to solution the problem itself and from day-to-day life. Okay. Now, how he says the solution can be found in 4S: the state, structure, solve, and sell. Now, take the problem. Let's say, unless you understand what the problem, you cannot answer it. So, if you don't understand the question which is asked by the interviewing officer, you will not be able to answer exactly what he expects. So, the first and foremost is you must understand what the problem itself is. Looks very easy, but it's so easy. In psychological test, you are given a photograph or say a picture. It looks okay. I've given picture, but what is the type? What the assessor is expecting you to give? You do not know. You're writing a simple story. Normally, everyone has told that you will not write anything negative. I've written where it says no. एक राजा था, एक रानी थी, दोनों मर गए, कहानी खत्म हो गई. That's a simple story. So you must understand. You understand the problem first, and it is the most difficult part of the solution. Because once you understand the problem, half the problem is solved. Then I must break the problem. That is, structure the problem. Having clearly stated the problem, you know how complex they are. Even structure the problem by breaking in smaller parts. You want to prepare for an examination. Exams are a complete book. It has got 20 chapters, and each chapter has got probably say 8 to 10 or 20 paragraphs or sections or subsections. I can't read the whole book. So I must prioritize it. I must see what is right, what is not right. I must break in smaller part and try and learn it that way. That is what is the structure, the problem. Next is solve the problem. Having broken the problem down each branch, then each sub-problem must be solved. It has been suggested that they call hypothesis-driven problem. What is hypothesis? You said this is the way the problem can be. So even as the simplest thing as if you want to prepare for examination. Hypothesis is whichever is the topic which has got maximum weightage I must give priority to that first. Second hypothesis may be, first ensure you get the basic minimum marks to pass, and then answer more and more questions so that you can score best. Third hypothesis can be, answer the most difficult question first and don't go to the easier question later on. Second, there can another hypothesis there, divide the whole time for examination based on the number of marks that you have got it, and try and devote only that much time for each question proportionate to the marks which are available. That's another. Issue-driven problem. Issue-driven problem, now I must answer specific the question that is being asked. So similarly, the problem, I must think about the problem and its solution there. Now, in a progressive growth of a GTO, issue is now, it consists of 4 problems, 4 tasks. And each task consists of different structures. And each structure consists of certain parts. So the problem is, rather than thinking about the 4th task, I must concentrate on the first part. And in the first part itself, I must visualize how each part, each structure is placed with respect to others. So that's the issue. And then how each structure is made of different parts itself, and how do I bridge it? That is what is there. Creative path of design thinking. Now I must solve the problem by creatively. Creativity was using a brain, fastest and most efficient way. That is what it really talks about. And lastly, the sell the solution. You may have had, suppose again I take the progressive growth task. You have got a brilliant idea. You are a group of 10 people. You know how it is to be done. But other 9 people are not allowing you to put across your views. So what is the use of having bright ideas? It means what? You must tell you have got the idea, you have got the solution, and you can think you can solve it as well. And you should be able to sell those ideas. Now, just like any product which has been launched in the market, until and unless it's sold, it may be the best of the product in that category. But until and it reaches the customer, that product is of no use. Okay, so it is not the innovative solution to the problem that you have found out. You must sell that product and let the people realize that that the product that you are selling is the best product available, or probably better than what is available existing in the ground. Similarly, when you go for competitive exams like SSV, you have got ideas. You must persuade others to visualize the value of the suggestion that you are giving it, and then implement it. Simple. So this can only happen by selling, by focusing on the solution and giving the required answer for that. Or you must solve the problem in a constructive manner. The whole this whole concept is very simple. We all know it. Nothing very different, nothing very great. But if you implement these in this structured way, you would be able to find solution to most of the problems in your life as well. So it is nothing to do with only for SSV. It is a life skill. You must learn it at all costs. I hope it is of some use. Thank you. We'll meet again.